Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Okay, guys, so we're moving on to the next part of the Manifesting Your Ideal Love series. So last week I, talked a little bit with you guys at the end of the video, and I said this week I wanted to talk more about feminine energy and what it means to lean back, because I know sometimes I'll talk about that in like a reading and I'll get comments as in, what does that mean? What does it mean to lean back? Like, what is feminine energy about? And stuff like that. So I figured it would be helpful, especially in the world that we're living in now. It's really dependent upon who you are, your age, where you've grown up, what you're doing, what your goals are. But I have kind of found that women in this world at this time, a majority are using their masculine energy a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in a relationship, when you're a woman in a relationship, and you're trying to be in a relationship with a powerful masculine man, you don't want to be in your masculine energy as a woman, because that's going to push them away from you. If you're out in the world and you're trying to pursue your career and your dreams and your goals, then yes, you want to utilize your masculine energy so that you can get those things. But when it comes to love, you may want to back it up a little bit and realize that that's not the best approach in order to conquer your goal, okay? And also, I have noticed that, like, sometimes women get into this place of being like feeling like we live in a man's world, and I think again it's going to be dependent upon what you do every day. Like, if you're somebody that works from home, you may not be so entwined into this, or if you're somebody that is like a wife that stays at home and takes care of the kids and things like that, it may not be on your radar as much as somebody that's like trying to climb the corporate ladder. But it is in our collective consciousness. And I'm sure you've heard that we're living in a man's world, or men are the ones with all the power, that women are objectified, women are abused, women don't have as many opportunities as men. You may see negative posts, negative readings where the masculine energy is like being put down a lot. Sometimes women become insecure and jealous because of the way things have been set up within the world with men and women and rights and equality and all of that. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to want equality. I'm not saying that it's not okay to like want to fight for your right and all of that. But I do feel like at this point, having the awareness that our thoughts create our reality, our perceptions and our beliefs are very connected. So whatever you're believing is what you're perceiving. Just like if you buy a new car, you're going to start noticing that car everywhere you go, where maybe a week ago you really didn't see them that often, but now that you're behind the wheel of one, you're seeing it everywhere. So if you're in that belief system of like, men are in power and men have more opportunity and men get better this and men get better that, or men are liars and men are cheaters and men are bad, you're going to keep finding those experiences or seeing opportunities where that shows up in your life. So instead of looking at it that way, or emphasizing these differences and emphasizing this inequality that exists, start looking at it as, we're at this point now where women have more opportunities now than they ever did. Women are being treated better than they once were, and not. And it doesn't have to be a woman to be abused. It doesn't have to be a woman to be objectified. But it seems that the focus is on that so much that, like, sometimes you share a post where like a woman does something to a guy, but if you had switched the roles, it would be like, ugh, everyone would be up in arms. But because it's a woman doing it to a man, nobody bats an eye. That's the type of reality a lot of us have created at this point through this like women, men, blah blah blah, separation, inequality, different. Everybody wants to be equal and one and balanced, but everybody's always looking at the things that cause that to not be so. So that's just one way of kind of like me bringing this to your awareness of like how much it impacts our lives, the masculine and feminine roles. And as a woman in this day and age, instead of like looking at it as like being bitter and angry about the masculine energy, or seeing these things that are not good, start looking at the good stuff, like, oh my god, like, women are getting, elected to run for president. Women are able to vote. Women are getting paid more than men in some cases. Women are starting better businesses than men in some cases. Women are, at a place now where they once, not that long ago, would have never even dreamed of. And the more that we focus on that, the more opportunity, the more experiences we're going to see that reflect that. Now, when it comes to love, the more that you're focusing on the fact that there are men out there who are going to love you, and they're going to be loyal to you, and they're going to want to show up for you in all the ways that maybe you haven't had happen in the past. They're not going to objectify you. They're not going to abuse you. They're going to love you unconditionally, is going to, again, start to shift that reality where maybe the experiences you've had up until this point suggested otherwise. Especially if you grew up in a home where it was like maybe your dad abused your mother, or your dad wasn't like the best role model for men. You don't want to keep expecting that out of every man you meet for the rest of your life. Okay, so that's my first thing about all of this. And then when it comes to your career, you're going to want to use your masculine energy, because that's how you're going to, get ahead. That's how you're going to provide and, pursue and get out there and climb that ladder and build your business and do the things that require you leaning forward and going after and getting it. But when it comes to love, if you're wanting a powerful masculine man to love you and show up for you in a balanced way, that's not the approach you're going to want to take, okay? And that's why I said, like, it depends on who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a very feminine man, then you can be in your masculine energy and things will probably work for you. But if you're here, I find that a lot of the women that have been coming to my channel within this past year are most likely dealing with a masculine man that the feminine was too much in the masculine role and pushed them, or kind of repelled the energy. Even though the masculine may have been attracted, may have wanted to be there, the feminine may have tried to be too much in that masculine energy and did the opposite of what she was trying to do, because she's using her, career focus, her masculine presence in the relationship where she should be in more of a feminine essence, okay? So what the feminine essence is being. The feminine essence is not about doing, it's just about being. And the masculine is about doing and not being, okay? So it's two opposites. So as a woman, you just want to be. You don't want to be doing when you're in love. If you're out in the world going after your goals, okay, go ahead and do stuff. But when it comes to love, it shouldn't be like I got to do all this stuff. I got to do this. I got to go do that. I got to, Masculines are the one that should be doing. They should be the one that's showing up and, trying to conquer, trying to pursue, protect, provide. Okay, so feminine energy is a playful energy that wants to surrender, but it also wants to be conquered so that it can kind of escape again and be taken by the true masculine. So it's like feminine energy is like a flow. If you think of like the water in the ocean, it's a playful presence of energy, and it's receptive and it's receiving, and it wants to be conquered by that powerful masculine energy. Masculine is a powerful presence. It's unshakable. It's constant and consistent. And I know a lot of women out there are like, well, I ain't been dealing with that, because you haven't allowed it to show up in that way. If you've been too much in your masculine energy, the masculine can't be constant, consistent. It can't be present and powerful, because you're, repelling that by you trying to do that. You're trying to be too consistent. You're trying to show up and be unshakable and do all the things that the masculine should be doing. The masculine is always on a mission. The masculine also is always on a mission towards freedom. And the feminines a lot of times get into this place of, wanting to hold things down and put a label on it and, know things right off the bat, and are trying to conquer, basically, which is what the masculine is all about. The masculine is on a mission of conquering. They're always like looking for the relief after the victory. They're looking for the peace after the sex. They're looking for that feeling after they hit a goal in their games, And they like a challenge. They like to live on the edge. They like to go after these goals and conquer these things. But what's happening with a lot of these women is the women are the ones trying to conquer these goals, and the women aren't being very challenging, because they're just giving themselves to these men, like throwing themselves at them and doing all of this stuff in an imbalanced way. So it's not, it's like, there's many facets to it, but I'm sure if you think about it, you could see how, like, if a man likes a challenge, you may not have been that challenging to them when you're constantly calling them and constantly showing up for them. There's never been any like, oh wait, I gotta do this, or oh, let me drop everything so I can come to you. Oh, it's 3 a.m, all right, I'm coming. Like, that's not okay. And if you think about like your energy towards your career and your energy towards your relationship, like, those should be two different things, okay? And again, that's dependent upon what you're doing for your career. You may be somebody that does stay at home, so it may be more so the way you look at men in general in love. Like, they always lie, they always cheat, they always do this, which would make you insecure, which would make you probably jealous, which would make you feel, kind of petty sometimes, and it puts you into a place that's not very good. It's like, it's actually like the opposite of being what the feminine is supposed to be about, okay? So if you want to think about masculine and feminine, you think about light and dark, the sun and the moon, the yin and the yang. You think about attraction and polarity. That's what masculine and feminine is about. The more feminine you are, the more of a masculine man you're going to attract. But if you're too masculine, you're going to attract feminine men. And if you attract feminine men, you may attract men that are kind of like in toxic energy. And that's not always necessarily going to be the case, but I find that there has been, connections there where it's like men who are not showing up fully in their masculine vibration tend to have these toxic traits, or they tend to kind of fit into that mold that women are seeing men to be. Like, they're going to lie, steal, cheat, manipulate, do things that don't feel so good. So just be aware of your belief system around men in general, and be aware of the polarity that exists there for a reason. And a lot of women do crave a strong man, but if you're craving a strong man and you're feeling like burnt out, you're feeling depleted, like you're pissed off, you're giving up on this person, but you crave them at the same time, or you crave this strong man in your life, it's most likely that you've been running on your masculine energy. Because the feminine shouldn't be burnt out, shouldn't be exhausted, shouldn't be depleted, because she's receiving, right? So a feminine in her feminine energy is receptive and receiving, and it's like she's not doing anything. So if you're feeling burnt out and tired, then that means you've been doing too much. You may have been thinking too much, you may have been feeling too much, or whatever, but it's like you've just been doing too much that has put you into your masculine energy and has put you on the opposite end of where you're wanting to be if you're trying to get this strong man into your life. So women a lot of times come to a point where they've had it, they get angry, they get bitter, they get exhausted, and it's because of their broken hearts, the failed marriages that they've been through, the false promises, all the lies that you've been told by men. And when that happens, a lot of times you start looking for revenge or power or justice. And it's because you want to be like, it's like you want something in return for all that you've been through. It's like, I've been hurt, I've been cheated on, I've been lied to. It's like, oh, when's it going to end? And unfortunately, you start blaming all of these people, the exes, the fathers, the brothers, men who are in powerful positions, maybe like Trump, blah, 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 whatever. And there may be shitty people in the world, but it just keeps you from being happy and fulfilled to focus on that stuff. And the more that you're in that energy, the more you're in that bitter, angry, destructive, negative flow. And the more of that you're going to see. So you want to come more so into a place of acknowledging that there was wrong things in the past and letting it go, so that you can start being, in your feminine essence and bringing things to you that are going to reflect a more happy and fulfilled creative energy, which is what the balanced feminine energy is about. The feminine energy is happy, it's fulfilled, it's creative, it's life-giving, and it's abundant. And if you're bitter and angry and destructive, you can't be a source of abundance in life. So you want to make sure that you're not hanging on to that stuff either when it comes to being in a balanced feminine flow. So when I have these people asking me these questions of like, what does it mean to be feminine? That's actually something you should be asking yourself. Like, what is femininity to you? And like, just think about it. And it may shift over time, but like, you should be asking yourself this question, like, what is femininity to you? For me, it's like flow. It's like the ocean. It's receptive. It's beautiful, like receiving. It's giving birth to things. It's the sacral energy. It's the womb. It's springtime when, all the new flowers are growing and stuff like that. And then ask yourself, when do you feel the most feminine? I know for me, it's like right when I get, like, when I'm in the shower and when I get out of the shower and I'm getting dressed, I'm doing, my hair, or I'm taking care of my home, or I'm, outside in the yard, the gardening, or, things like that. And for everybody, that's going to be different. But when do you feel the most feminine? Is like when you're with your children, or when you're around, babies, or whatever it is, where this like natural instinct inside of you to feel feminine bubbles up. Start being aware of that. And then, you know, start asking yourself, what are you doing daily to be in that feminine energy, or to connect with your feminine energy? And if you're not sure, I have 18 different things here that can help you to be more present with your feminine energy. So the first one is take responsibility for your life and dreams, because it's your life, it's your dreams. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. I can guarantee you that even though, there has been some, imbalances or injustices or discrepancies or things in your world that have not been great, doesn't keep you from having the life of your dreams, okay? And if you look out there, there's probably people who have been through exactly what you've been through, or worse, and have come out on the other side living that life that you've been dreaming of. So know that you can have it, but you got to stop placing the blame outside, and you got to stop focusing on all of the like things that are negative, and being like bitter or resentful about what's gotten you to here, and just take responsibility for what's gotten you to here, and stop connecting with what's gotten you here, okay? And start being responsible for your future and your life. Studying feminine and masculine energy would also be beneficial to you, to just understand it more. Studying womanhood and being prideful about it, because again, it's almost like people are setting up, like, I know sometimes when I read like the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm like, yeah, she's the one that like can stay home and cooks meals and takes care of the babies, and she's a nurturer. Sometimes I feel that resistance. Like I'm like, I know some women are like, I ain't gonna be at home barefoot and in the kitchen and blah 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 blah. And it's not all women, but there are women out there like that. And being in that energy is like you're repelling, like you're almost like against your feminine energy, and like we want to have pride in that. That's what the feminine energy does. Like without the feminine energy, we wouldn't be giving birth and nurturing and helping. And if you're not in good feminine energy, then what type of children are you bringing into the world and stuff like that? So try to take pride in it, be aware of it, learn more about it. There's tons of information out online that's available for free for people to study about this stuff. Getting out of your head is huge. So if you're always in this logical place, that's a very masculine place. Masculine is very logical, up in the head thinking. Feminine is about feeling and dropping into the womb where you give creation. Okay, so you want to be feeling more and being like down here in that center of creation, in your womb space, where you create life, where you give birth to things, instead of thinking all the time. And then that brings me to stop rationalizing everything. Like you don't have to constantly be rationalizing why you're doing something, or why somebody else does something, or what, happened, or, giving excuses to things. Just stop being up here basically, and just give yourself permission to stop doing so much, or to stop thinking so much, or just to be, just to relax, which is ultimate feminine energy. You don't have to be doing anything, which is such a beautiful thing if you think about it, because everybody's constantly running around. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. The essence of feminine energy is just being, just relaxing. So give yourself that permission to stop rationalizing. Like that's part of it too. Like if you sit down and you're just being, are you still up here thinking and rationalizing and all of that? That's not it. You gotta stop altogether to be in your feminine energy. And another way to do it is to get creative, which you can do in so many ways. You could do it by cooking, you could do it by gardening, you could do it by drawing, you could do it by painting, singing, dancing, whatever it is that brings you joy and it gets you into that creative flow, connects with your womb, and it helps you to give birth to new things. So whatever resonates for you to be creative with, give yourself 10 minutes a day to have that creative time, to feel that feminine energy, and do it with conscious, intention. Say, like, if you're going to draw, or you're going to, doodle or paint or whatever, intend that you're doing it from your place of feminine energy, and see what you give birth to. Just be aware of this stuff. It's going to help you to bring more and more of it about. And then you could schedule like a sexy like shoot for yourself, like a boudoir shoot. Like, I was thinking about doing that, and then I didn't, because I was like, well, why would I do that? Like, I'm not really going to give that to anybody. That's me rationalizing, like, I don't have to give it to anybody. It may be nice to have that in 5 or 10 years and look back and be like, oh my god, look at that. And if you can't afford that, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can also just kind of get dressed up, feel sexy, and take a selfie. It's like, just give yourself permission to be sexy and to like get in your feminine essence, to dress up, to do your hair, to do your makeup. Like, even just going out and getting yourself some new fancy underwear or a new bra. It's like, it doesn't have to be something anybody else sees, but you being in it, you'll feel it, you'll know it. It's going to shift your energy. And it's going to help you the next part, which is worthiness and value oneself. A lot of times women are having issues with men valuing them, or having, worth placed on them, and it's a lot of times because we're not giving it to ourselves enough. So you've got to be valuable to yourself. You've got to place worth on who you are, and put on a mission of being happy and fulfilled within your life, instead of focusing on the places that you're not fulfilled, instead of focusing on the fact that you don't have a man, or you're not where your career you want to be with that, or that, this didn't go out right, or that didn't happen right. Just be fulfilled with who you are now, and more will come to fulfill you in that moment. Try to be happy and get rid of things that don't make you happy. Spending more time in nature, connecting with water. Taking a bath is a great way to get into the water. Going to the beach, going to a river, going to a lake. Again, water is a very feminine energy, so just connecting with it in any way possible is going to help you to connect with your feminine energy. Being outside in nature is going to help you connect with that birth that comes through nature. That just freedom that exists out there, and it's just constantly shifting and changing and growing. Animals, babies, and kids are another good way for you. Like, if you have kids, make sure you're present with them a few minutes a day. Put your phone down, or just try to be in that nurturing vibration. Pets are a great way, or just animals in general are a great way for you to feel that nurturing vibration of like wanting to take care of them and love them, and feeling the unconditional love that they give to you. Smiling and laughing. Like, if you find that you've just been very serious for too long, too logical for too long, feeling for too long, watch a funny movie, get out there, just put a fake smile on until it like turns into a real smile. Sometimes that's all you need, is to just like remember to smile. And removing toxic, negative people out of your life, whether it's in person or on the internet. And that may be another place that you try to rationalize or overthink, and like, well, they haven't really necessarily done anything. But if they're negative and they're bringing you down, or they're up here taking space, it's okay to get rid of them. You don't need to rationalize or come up with excuses for it. Just like you would unfollow a page that you didn't like something on, unfollow people that you don't like something about. Doesn't mean that you have to like never talk to anybody ever again, but stop engaging with the people that bring you down, and that's going to help you to feel happier and more present and feeling good about yourself and your life. And then stop engaging in low vibrational stuff like the news, the politics, the social media crap that like just takes you down, 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 down. When the news is basically always bad news. Like, you very rarely see something on Fox that's like, oh, that was great. So if it's gonna make you feel shitty and like, try to disconnect from it. Like the politics, a lot of times you'll see that stuff in there with the men and the women and blah, 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 blah. It's like, just, I'm not saying to not be informed, but basically don't keep giving so much of your time and energy to it. And try to back up on social media, because like that's a place where women compare and contrast instead of just being happy with who they are. It's like, oh, so and so's got this and so's got that, and they look so much better than me, and I wish I had this. Stop doing that to yourself. Be happy with who you are. And then that leads into being like more silent in meditation. So if you are you know, constantly filling up your time with social media or the news or this or that, can you just be silent, like without going up here and thinking? And if you can't, maybe try meditating so that you can start to train your brain to be comfortable in the silence. Being in that energy of nothingness is very feminine energy. And then when it comes to like your menstruation cycle, or if you're no longer having that, getting into the energy of the cycles of the moon and connecting the two. So if you have it, you know, connect it and figure out like where you're at with that. Maybe you get your you know, period every full or new moon, or maybe you're getting it at this time where it's like the waxing moon or whatever. Just learn the cycles and start connecting with that energy, because it is very feminine energy, the moon. And embrace it instead of being like, I hate this, it's so bad. It's like, because you're just making it worse for yourself. You know, like I tend to do that because I have like days where I'm like very tired and I feel like it's like this cycle of like I don't feel good, and then it's like I don't feel good, I feel good, boom, back down. But when I look at it that way, it gets worse. When I'm not looking at it that way or not expecting it, it's like I don't even notice, and all of a sudden it's there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was coming. So it kind of kicks out that whole PMS thing that like last month I was like, it must be because of this. It's again, it's whatever we're perceiving is what we're believing. So try to embrace it and love it, and even if it's difficult, you know without it you wouldn't be the feminine, and without being the feminine, it's like you just want to be okay with who you are, you know. Dancing and movement, breathing are good ways to be in that energy, like belly dancing or, you know, pole dancing, whatever dancing it is that you're connected to, you feel like you want to do. Just put on any old music and dance, move your body, do some yoga, whatever it is to be connected to feeling and moving. That's going to help you too. And then when it comes to like love, let the man lead in love and also set the man free. You know, by being in this energy, it's going to be easier for you to do that. For you to not be like wanting to constantly start something. For you to want to constantly fill up that empty space where they may not be saying something. It's like, oh, this is awkward, I got to say something. Men don't need that. Men are okay in silence a lot of times. And if they see that you're silent, let them be the one to initiate communication. Let them have the freedom to decide, you know, sometimes what's going to happen next, instead of constantly trying to take it to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Because that's you being in your masculine energy. And when it comes to leaning back, basically what that means is stop trying to make things happen and stop placing expectations on everything. Again, just be. That's what feminine energy is. Just be. If you're like, you know, I need them to call me by this day, or I wonder if what's gonna happen, or this and that, like, you know, I'm going on a date with this person, I wonder what's gonna happen after that, am I gonna like them, like all these expectations out of here, it's just too much. Like, stop trying to make it happen and stop trying to like figure out what's gonna happen. Just allow it to happen. That's gonna be the leading back. And stop searching for ways to make men love you or see value in you, because if you love you and you value you and you see yourself, they're going to be able to see you even better. You know, like if you're constantly like, oh, what can I do to make him see me in a better way, what can I do to get him to like pay attention, or what can I do for him to like, you know, see the value of me, or to see that I've changed, or see that I'm good, or see whatever. It's like that's a complete opposite of just being it. Just being it speaks it on its own. You don't have to inform anybody of anything. You're gonna exude that energy. People are gonna know it, and it will come through in the actions. Because if you were somebody that had no value and no respect, and they got to take advantage of that, and then they later come back and you have that value and respect, they're gonna figure it out real quick. Because you're no longer gonna be that doormat or that person that's like, oh, please love me. They're gonna know. So you don't have to like put it in their face. And that's not even like if you're feeling like you want to put it in their face that you're better, or you did this, or you, oh my god, I, you know, changed this about myself, then you're still not valuing yourself enough to know that you don't need to do that. And stop pushing for labels. Like when you're with somebody or you're dating somebody, it's like you want to go faster and faster and you want to put a label on it. I know at some certain points you do need to be like, all right, what's going on here? Like, we've been together for years. Like, are we going to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or what? But if you're like just starting out with somebody and you went into it okay without labels and stuff like that. Don't all of a sudden like do a switch up and be like, all right, we need labels, or do it like 3 dates in. Some people do that as well, where it's like all of a sudden they go from talking and texting to like wanting to like lock this person into being their boyfriend for just them forever, and that person may not be ready to do that yet, but you doing that to them pushes them. If you're not pushing for this stuff and you're just allowing and you show your value, you're going to stand out, because they're most likely dealing with other women that are like that. If they're dating other people, you're going to stand out from those other ones when you actually know how to be feminine and not be like, please, 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 and clingy, 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 and you value yourself and you're in this energy. They're gonna want to come to you. They're gonna want to be the one that puts a label on it, and that's the type of man that you want. So if you're dealing with a man that's not gonna put a label on it, it is too much of the feminine man, then just let them go so that a better one can come in place and give to you what you deserve. And stop worrying that like they're gonna forget about you. I know a lot of women do this where it's like, I haven't heard from them. I feel like I should reach out to them. Like it's been 3 days. They haven't said anything to me. Or, oh, it's Christmas. Or, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Or, oh, whatever freaking excuse it is to lean forward and message them or to say something to them. Believe me, if this person has a connection with you, they're never going to forget about you. Doesn't matter how long it goes without you texting them. If there's a deep enough connection there, if they like you, you don't need to be reaching out to them every minute or trying to get because basically what you're doing is trying to get that like okay on your back of like they're still talking to me, they still like me. It's a self-serving thing at that point, and it's an expectation thing at that point, and it's you trying to make things happen by instead of letting like a day go by without hearing from them. And that again too, it's like if you don't reach out and get something back from them and you just sit there, don't be in that rationalizing, like, why aren't they calling me? Why haven't they messaged me? There must be somebody else, or maybe they forgot about me, or blah, 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 blah. You spiral. So that is not leaning back. That's just too forward. And just let them be the one to initiate the communication. Let them be the one that pursues. Let them be the one that conquers. And if you're in that energy of being like, when are they going to call? When are they going to call? You're energetically pushing forward. So they're probably going to lean back themselves because they get pushed away by your too forwardness. Whether they're conscious or unconscious of it, it happens. And stop being easy. Stop being available. Like if you're dealing with somebody that only calls you up like every 3 weeks at 3 a.m. because they're lonely and drunk and you drop everything to go, they're going to know that you're just that easy available girl. Or if it's like you're working and all of a sudden like they're like, hey, do you want to go out, blah blah blah, and you're like, yeah, let me just cancel all my meetings and clear my schedule to come to you. That's easy and available. Like I said, a true masculine man is going to want to have something to conquer. They're going to want something to go after. They want to get to that goal. And if the goal is just like it's not, it'd be like having no goalie at the soccer game. There's really no fun in just hitting a ball into an empty net. So try to think of yourself of in that way too. Don't just run and jump because it's somebody that you like, and don't worry that they're going to forget you just because it's been a day, or if it's been an extended amount of time and all of a sudden they come back. You don't need to drop everything for that person. They left you all that time and you didn't forget them, so they can wait a little bit. Like, let them try to get something back with you. Again, value, respect, integrity. And men in their masculine energy will want to show up. They're going to want to lead. They're going to want to protect. They're going to want to provide. They're going to want to pursue. And they're going to want a woman and crave a woman that allows them to do this. So if you haven't been doing this, that may be the reason why they tend to disappear. And then maybe after time shifts, it's like maybe you get more into your feminine energy and they show back up, but it's like you instantly get back into your, oh my God, expectation mode, oh my God, masculine mode. And that's when you start to give, and chase, and they run. So you want to stop that flow of going towards them and allow it to reverse, okay? And it's like, you think about it, it's like a lot of women are always like, it's never enough. It's because they're doing too much. And this happens energetically too. Like when you're, thinking about them, when you're sending them stuff, when you're on their social media, when you're watching, binge watching readings about them, your energy is all over them. they're going to feel it. They may not be knowing it, but they're going to feel it. So you want to stop that and shift it. And it does get easier the more that you do that. The more that you replace that like tendency to like want to know about them and check up on them and reach out to them and send them this and send them that and wonder this and wonder that, you'll fill up your time with other things that are going to help you to realize like how unhealthy it was and shift the vibration to start attracting towards you these masculine men, or the masculine man that you may have pushed away by being too much in your masculine vibration. And then when you're around these people, pay attention to how you are physically with them. Are you physically leaning towards them, trying to get their attention? Or are you okay back here and knowing that their gaze is on you? And pay attention to how they react to your actions. Like, lean back and see what they do. Lean forward and see what they do, because that's going to help you to figure out if they're masculine or feminine, okay? So these are some of the ways to help you in figuring it out and utilizing it. In Renee, namaste.